Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Jack Patillo, and listen all y'all, it's sabotage. It's a Beastie Boys line. Well, at least that's according to Sony and the official documentation it gave to the Competition and Markets Authority in an effort to get the UK regulator to bar Microsoft's plans to purchase Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. The CMA is, of course, one of three major regulators that need to sign off on the deal, and pretty much from the beginning, Sony has repeatedly raised concerns over the importance of Call of Duty as a multi-platform franchise and the impact it would have on the industry at large, as well as Sony's ability to sell PlayStations if Microsoft were to own the IP rights. Does someone buy a PlayStation just for Call of Duty? I don't know. After reviewing the new documents, Tom Warren over at The Verge summarized Sony's concerns, saying the company is worried that Microsoft could, quote, raise the price of Call of Duty, make it only available on its own Xbox Game Pass subscription service, and even strategically or incidentally degrade the quality and performance of Call of Duty on PlayStation. How rude. Sony even went as far as to invent a hypothetical sabotage. The official documentation reads, quote, Microsoft might release a PlayStation version of Call of Duty where bugs and errors emerge only on the game's final level or after later updates. Even if such degradations could be swiftly detected, any remedy would likely come too late, by which time the gaming community would have lost confidence in PlayStation as a go-to venue to play Call of Duty. Hypotheticals. Sony added Microsoft could further leverage their potential ownership by, quote, degrading the quality and performance of Call of Duty on PlayStation compared to Xbox, degrading Call of Duty to ignore PlayStation-specific features like better controller haptics, or, quote, restricting, degrading, or not investing in the multiplayer experience on PlayStation. I don't know who's in charge of this. Who are letting these lawyers go wild? I can't imagine that happening, but someone's making money on this. At the time of this recording, Microsoft hasn't responded directly to these now publicly revealed concerns of sabotage, but they likely will, as they have been quick to publicly address Sony's concerns in the past. If they do, we will include that headline right here. In any case, Minecraft continues to be a sterling example of a game Microsoft owns but has kept multi-platform and runs just fine on PlayStation, Switch, and even phones. In regards to Sony's worries over console exclusivity, Microsoft commissioned a survey. After reviewing the results, VP of Microsoft's competition law group, Rima Alela, said Call of Duty is, quote, too small to hurt Sony's ability to compete and too small to make a withholding strategy profitable for Xbox. Alela also reiterated, quote, as we have said all along, it makes zero business sense to take Call of Duty off of PlayStation. Alongside a number of concessions and alleged attempts to negotiate with Sony, Microsoft has also stated they are willing to make Call of Duty titles available on PlayStation Plus, which is Sony's Game Pass equivalent, day and date. Microsoft has also signed 10-year contracts promising to release new Call of Duty titles on Nintendo hardware, as well as Nvidia's GeForce Now cloud gaming service. Reportedly, Xbox offered the same deal to Sony and more, but according to Activision's EVP of Corporate Affairs and CCO Lulu Miserve, the company and specifically PlayStation boss Jim Ryan continually refuses to negotiate. As to why, Miserve claimed on Twitter, quote, the CEO of SIE answered that question in Brussels in his words, I don't want a new Call of Duty deal, I just want to block your merger. Now, Miserve has a history of being inflammatory online, and it's not verified yet that Jim Ryan actually said this, so take it with a decent grain of salt, but if it is true, Sony is really playing dirty pool. In the documentation Sony presented to the CMA, the company stated, quote, Microsoft has not shown any real commitment to reaching a negotiated outcome. They have dragged their feet, engaged only when they sensed the regulatory outlook was darkening, and favored negotiating in the media over engaging with SIE. The CMA is set to make a decision about Activision Blizzard's acquisition at the end of April, and we'll find out then. Alright, as long as we are talking about Xbox and exclusivity, we should mention Bethesda Studios' very anticipated title, Starfield, finally has a new release date. Yay! The game was originally scheduled to launch last year in November, but was pushed to the first half of 2023 and has now been formally pushed one more time to September 6th. The announcement came by way of an all-new release date trailer. The official Xbox Twitter account also revealed that a Starfield Direct will be taking place June 11th after the Xbox Summer Showcase, set to take place on the same day. That's technically E3 week, but it's the Sunday before things start officially. As far as the rest of the year goes for Xbox, Redfall is out on May 2nd, Forza Forza Motorsport is expected sometime later this year, and some are even hoping to see a release date for Hellblade 2 in the near future. Next up, we have a few updates for you about the Resident Evil 4 remake. For starters, Capcom is planning to fix the game's rain issues with a day one patch. If you weren't aware, gameplay footage of Resident Evil 4 remake acquired by GameInformer.com was catching a lot of flack for the way the rain looked. A lot of fans called it ugly or compared it to how much better the rain in Resident Evil 2 remake looked. So now Capcom is just gonna fix it. Just make sure you update your copy to the latest version before you play. Another Resident Evil 4 remake news, GameStop has reportedly canceled all of their in-store collector's edition orders. So if you ordered one and you ordered in a store, you might want to double check your email. Whoops. This news comes by the way of Wario64, who tweeted on Tuesday, March 7th, quote, "If you pre-ordered Resident Evil 4 collector's edition in store at GameStop, they just issued a memo stating the CE won't arrive in stores and will not be fulfilled/arriving. Does not mention anything about online orders, so I assume online orders are not affected." We dug into this a little bit, and honestly, it still seems a little iffy on whether or not some online orders will also be affected by the cancellations. Some customers did get confirmation that their in-store orders were okay, but with GameStop, it's really hard to tell these days, and they don't have a great track record of fulfilling orders when it comes to collector's editions. Our third bit of news is, by the time you are watching this video, there should actually be a demo available for Resident Evil 4 Remake. Oh, also a VR mode for the game is in development and will be part of a free update sometime after launch. Get your VR scary stuff going. Take-Two has been hit with a significant round of layoffs. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier tweeted earlier this week, quote, "Video game publisher Take-Two is laying people off today in its private division label and other divisions," sources tell Bloomberg. Spokesman Alan Lewis says the cuts, quote, "will better align our organization with our long-term priorities and that the impact on dev teams is minimal." Take-Two is obviously renowned for their sports games and owning Rockstar Games, but for the unfamiliar, Private Division is a smaller publishing arm of Take-Two that has contributed to the distribution of titles like The Outer Worlds, Hades, Disintegration, Ollie Ollie World, Rollerdrome, and Kerbal Space Program 2. As Jason Schreier reported, it doesn't sound like many day-to-day developers have been impacted, but it's still a bummer to hear about more layoffs continuing to spread across the industry. It's been a rough 6 months for everyone. Moving on to our last story, apparently Pokémon Scarlet and Violet's latest update has introduced a save-demolishing bug. No! That's the worst kind of bug. Everyone hates that. Everyone disliked that. Put that thing up there from Fallout 4. As reported by VGC, users on Reddit discovered that pairing the games with Pokemon Go caused them to lose entire saves. Others who simply downloaded the latest update also experienced the issue. Reddit user Matthew C. Bayer posted, quote, "I lost a 595-hour save file because of this, and so far nothing can be done to recover my save. Ouch." Attempts to retrieve backup saves were unsuccessful as well. The number of players affected seemed to be low, but it's a pretty serious issue. Nintendo has yet to publicly or widely acknowledge the problem. However, after trying to solve the bug on their own alongside other Redditors, Bayer posted an update which reads, quote, "I just got a phone call from a representative at Nintendo, as did at least one other user who has commented here. He wanted to communicate that they are aware of the issue and are looking into it. But because it's such a unique issue, they have no estimates as to how long it will be before they have some answers. He did also say they would reach back out once they have more information." Hopefully by the time this video goes up, Nintendo has a solution or some type of compensation for these poor Pokemon trainers who lost all their Pokemon in a single moment, because that is a super big bummer. All right, let's take a look at some comments. Last week, we talked a lot about Final Fantasy 16 and all of the updates from a preview event and some interviews with Yoshi P, but there is one very serious thing we have to address, and that's my lack of Final Fantasy knowledge. You all put me on blast, and now Evan is putting me on blast by making me read these comments. Come on! Paul Peterson wrote, quote, "Blizzaga is an ice spell in the Final Fantasy universe. How do you not know that?" Because I haven't played it. Okay, look, man, when I was playing Final Fantasy games, they just called it Ice 1, Ice 2, or Ice 3. It was like the most basic thing. I was more of a Dragon Quest guy anyway. I looked it up. They didn't start doing Blizzaga, and all that in the West until Final Fantasy 8, so it's been a while. Also, for the rest of you who didn't know, Moad Dib gave us a little history lesson writing, quote, "Aw, come on, Jack. The reason it was called Final Fantasy was because it very likely was going to be the last game made by Square. It was their last-ditch effort after other games failed, and if it hadn't done so amazingly well, would have spelled the end of the game studio. Okay, that makes more sense than it, because there's lots of fantasies and it would be, that makes sense. I give you credit for that. All right, you learn something new every day here. Thanks for the comments, everyone. We're always happy to learn more about video games on this channel and share that knowledge with you. And I appreciate that you saw one of my dirty pieces of my gaming experience. I played 7 a little bit forever ago. Anyway, I'm more of a Kingdom Hearts guy. All right, let's talk about some games that are coming out this week. Rough Justice 84. Do what it takes to make your fledgling security agency thrive in this 80s noir, crime-busting, dirty crossing, vengeance-seeking board game-inspired strategy game with dice and cards. So many hyphens. Rough Justice 84 is coming to the PC on March 13th. Escape from the Red Planet simplifies the resource management, tower defense, and first-person mechanics into a singular arcade experience. On the latest mission to Mars, the Orion 3 crash landed. With Martian attacks looming, Houston most definitely has a problem. Escape from the Red Planet is coming to the PC on March 14th. The Forest Cathedral is a first-person environmental thriller set on a remote island. Play as scientist Rachel Carson and slowly uncover the effects of DDT by solving 2D, 3D connected puzzles in this dramatic reimagining of Silent Spring. The Forest Cathedral comes to the PC and Xbox Series X on March 14th. In this 3D visual novel, follow failed screenwriter Junon as she attempts to make it through the most pivotal day in her life. Relive the past, alter the present, and embrace the future, or without your help, Junon's story might end in a wreck. The wreck comes to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on March 14th. The special support section find themselves with new members and new duties. However, rising tensions in Crossbell, alongside pressure from 2 neighboring political powers, threatens the safety of their home, as well as the integrity of their team. The Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure comes to the PC, PS4, and Switch on March 14th. Valheim, a brutal exploration and survival game for 1 to 10 players set in a procedurally generated purgatory inspired by Viking culture. Battle, build, and conquer your way to a saga worthy of Odin's patronage. Valheim is coming to the Xbox Series X and Xbox One on March 14th, and I love that game. Walson, Lords of Mayhem is a dynamic hack and slash with no class restrictions. Choose your path as you level up and play your character the way you want. Explore the shattered and corrupted world to uncover its ancient secrets and hidden truths. Wolcen, Lords of Mayhem comes to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X on March 15th. The Dark Pictures Switchback VR. Experience the thrill of the most nightmarish VR roller coaster action shooter set inside the sinister world of the Dark Pictures anthology and enhanced by the innovative features of PlayStation VR 2. The Dark Pictures Switchback VR comes to PSVR 2 on March 16th. Rivertale Stronger Together is a 3D co-op adventure platformer with a colorful cartoon aesthetic. Work together to defeat end-of-level bosses and solve puzzles across a range of natural world environments. Rivertale's Stronger Together comes to the PC on March 16th. Anno 1800. Welcome to the dawn of the industrial age. The path you choose will define your world. Are you an innovator or an exploiter? A conqueror or a liberator? How the world remembers your name is up to you. Anno 1800 comes to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X on March 16th. Peppa Pig World Adventures. Finally, we get to the good stuff. Play in the bigger, wider world of Peppa Pig and bring your family into the story. Make pizza in Italy, walk on Hollywood Boulevard, watch out for homeless people, climb the Eiffel Tower, and more on your world tour. Peppa Pig World Adventures is coming everywhere. PlayStation, PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, Xbox One, Switch, on March 17th. That's one you're going to want to pick up. WWE 2K23 is packed with expanded features, gorgeous graphics, and a deep roster of WWE superstars, including Roman Reigns, American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and more. WWE 2K23 comes to the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One on March 17th. Long before she was called Bayonetta, this trainee of the dark arts took a faithful journey into the forbidden Avalon Forest. Alongside her was Cheshire, her very first demon. Play as both Cereza and Cheshire as they look for the power to save Cereza's mother. Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon comes to the Switch on March 17th. And that's gonna do it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a nice weekend. I'm gonna go play some Final Fantasy. Probably not though.